Luminex is like people are waiting for. Right, not used to that. So, hello everyone, how are we all? Good to see you all. Hi Alice. Yeah, first, as always. Hi Brian, Coco, Daryl, Big J, Candy. Candy, you could go look after Chris if you need to. I'm sure we got someone else in here who can stick all the links up. Yes, Alice, new working lighter. Yeah, so if any of the mods want to stick up the links for either Candy or Pam's GoFundMe's, and yes, my computer is now telling me that Chris is live. Yo, Funk, how you doing, buddy? Oh, bless him. He's wearing the old flood pants, is he, Candy? Well, now he's not getting all the nasty medicines pumped into him. He's going to be jumping up in height. Thank you, Candy. Pam's link. I suppose, Bob, if you'd be kind enough to put Candy's GoFundMe in there as well. And if anyone's got the Project Piaba link, that can go up there. And anyone else who's currently... Yeah, and Pam's doing calendars, and so is Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction. All hand-drawn and painted. Thank you very much, Lee Candy. All right, so what have I been up to this? I'm looking at a weird angle because I'm reading the chat at the side of the screen. And yeah, I need new glasses. Yeah. What have I been up to this week? Well, fishies wise, oh, tuck that in before I upset Alice. All right. This tank had the two rams. That one. I had the two rams, the copper harlequin rasboras, and the CPDs in it. Now only has the CPDs and one of the rams. So yeah, I had two females. So the newer of the females, hi Shelby Ray, is now in the flex over yonder direction with the platties. Shortly to have a good meal, because I think one of the platties is going to drop very shortly, looking at the size of her. And yes, Alice, I did get new fishies. Nothing spectacular. I've got a male ram to go in with Mama Ram. The copper harlequins from there went into there. And I also got a couple more of the Chop Ray Glow Light Danios. Just to bulk out the shoal a little in that tank. Hey Pam, hey Bob, everyone. Also, stretch, reach, just out of reach. Got a couple of plants, got a Staragini repens, Tropica, and a, reach even further, a Bacopa compact as well. So we shall be providing more cover for the fishies in both the second flex, which has got the butterfly cichlids, danios, and ginger in, and also in there as well. Yeah. Who is Scott? Hey Scott, if you're here, I haven't seen you, but welcome aboard. Other news, the CO2, which is again in that tank, the Tropica Plant Grow can system, has been running a little over a week now. I haven't seen any obvious serious differences, but I'm not sure how long it will take. I haven't cut my hair yet, Alice. The weather's turned and it's got cold, and I didn't want to Oh, I'm sorry if I missed you, Scott. Let me just scroll back up and see what you said. I can find the right bit to scroll up. Come on. Where's Scotty Too Hotty? Chat's skipping like silly on me. But yeah. Hi, Scott, Liz, if you're there as well. And the other good news with a little shrimpy tank down there, I've got. Yeah, I'm not going to sing that, Scott, because we all know what Apple are like when it comes to blocking videos that mention anything of the Fab Four's lyrics. Yeah, I know I'm not monetized, but if I start singing "She Loves You," then video might get taken down. I'll sing you something another day, Scott. How's that? Maybe the frog chorus, if you like a bit of McCartney solo stuff. But yeah, so dozens and dozens and dozens of tiny little shrimplets in there at the moment. And in with Norman, the better. So he's got a bunch of new little shrimpy friends. So I'll have to take some out and move them across, because otherwise he gets a bit upset. He's actually scared of shrimp. He doesn't eat them. He runs away from them, or swims away from them. He's got to be the softest better on the face of the planet. Yeah, Bob's got it covered, Alice. Yeah. And Candy put the Project Piava run up. I'm pretty sure everyone in here will be familiar with Project Piava. Great charity. Bob, Kayla's Aquatics, Alice. As Bob. But yeah, Project Piava. Great thing. I think Rack River Life, that's the channel. Hi, Dennis, Salad. Yeah, he's got a lot of information about Project Piava on his channel. And the fish are coming over to the UK. Hey, Big J. At some point, now we don't know when, but talks are going on, as it were, to get Project Piava over here, which I'm all for. If I can buy pretty fish and help save the Amazon rainforest, that's a good thing for me. I'm not usually the most environmentally conscious of people. Excuse me. Tonight's energy drink is Monster, large can. Say, what is it? 550 ml. So that should keep me going for an hour or so. Thank you, Bob, putting that one up there as well. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers my week in fish keeping. I've not had any deaths or multiplications other than the shrimp. No fights or anything nasty. Well, Pam and Cribby in there somewhere are both sporting damaged tails, but Heidi, yeah, they both came into season at the same time. Hey, Lance, and yeah, they came into season at the same time and decided they both wanted the same cave, so they kind of nibbled each other's tails until they understood that Pam was the biggest and Pam was going to get that cave. Because yeah, so I do feel bad, and I see all these links going up, and I really wish I could help. And then I go buy more fish. But yeah, yeah, it wasn't an expensive trip today by any means. I think the Rams are $4.95 and the Danios are $2.49. You know, I think I spent maximum of a tenner. But yeah, if I could help, then I would help. But as you know, Pam, I mean, I'm out of work at the moment. If I was working, I would be sending money to Candy, to Pam. I'd be buying calendars. But you know, if I had the funds, I would. But no, I've got savings, but I don't know when I'm going to find a job. So I don't know how long they're going to have to last me for. I mean, heck, I could get a job next week and then, you know, job done, sorted. But that is why I haven't been buying new tanks and expensive lights and all that kind of stuff lately. If I'd have still been working, I would have had one of the, is it a 35, 36, 32 gallon, I think, the Mega Flex. I would have had one of them if I was still working, and been figuring out what was going to go in there. It'd probably be being overrun by crevensers at the moment. Yeah. Now, if you got links to things like that, stick them out. I've got a couple of model makers in here. Aren't going to know what the links are about and why, but no, suffice to say, it's people who are having problems, not of their own making. In one case, due to illness, and in the other case, due to, how can I put it, really bad laws, basically. I'm not entirely sure what the laws are regarding that over here, Pam, but I think it would be something like a month minimum before they could even start eviction notices. And it's usually more like 3 months, I think. And if you own, I think the other thing is, if you own the building on the land, then it's really difficult to get rid of you. Well, I do what I can, Nola Jane. It's not a lot, but you know. Oh yeah, if Bob did streaming, yeah, there'd be a different tank every week. I mean, I could shift to a different perspective, I mean, show a different tank, but then there'd be other strange things in the background. There wouldn't be a few model tanks. Hey, Chewy. It'd be weirder models, DVD collections, TVs and buckets, and yeah. And I suppose I could stream from the man cave, but that would probably just confuse everyone who isn't a modeler. Yeah. So I mean, I've got the subs, Bob. I just haven't got the view hours. If I get the viewing hours, then, you know. Unfortunately, I've got the laptop, so I stream from that rather than my phone. But yeah, find yourself a slot, Bob, and go for it. Alice, you always sound creepy, but we love you for it. Well, there we go then. Anyone who's not subbed to Bob, sub to Bob. He does some very interesting videos. He's got a very calming voice as well, which is the problem where if you did long videos, Bob, I'd probably fall asleep. Well, there's only 18 watching Alice, and one of them is probably me. So, you know, especially if there's modelers in here, because model people tend not to do the whole click like thing on the video. They'll watch it and that's it. They won't remember to click like or anything. AC23. Yeah. If I tried with my phone, it'd completely die. It's not got enough memory to run any of this. We know you're a model, Citizen Pam. I'm not sure which empire. I nearly said Reich then. That probably wouldn't go down very well. Ooh, pardon me. Coming over all blacky. Yes, so that's been my week. I've got nothing really much new to report. It looks like it's mainly fishy people in here, so talking about the Telford Model Expo is probably not going to be very useful. I'm trying to think, did I have any fishy topics? I wrote some stuff down. No, I'm not saying that, Bob. I'm saying I like the voice. It's very calming, relaxing. See, I think, I don't know whether it's a British thing or a European thing. We tend to, we tend to find the over-the-top excited, loud, fast editing, that kind of style, which seems to be more of an American type style. We find that somewhat off-putting. So when someone's like, "Yeah, I've got new fish. Yeah, let's look at it. Yeah, let's go." We sit there going, "Huh? What? Huh? Too much? Too much? Slow down." That's twice at Leavenworth. Oh, you can tell I watch too much American TV and movies, so I know what Leavenworth is. Yeah, I'll probably know more about the prisons that are no longer used. Let's put it that way. I do watch a lot of the paranormal documentary type things. Again, whether I like the way they're done, nah, not too much. It's actually, it's something that struck me about. It doesn't matter which of the paranormal shows it is. Have I watched Firefly? No. Brown coats for life. Yeah. I love Firefly. One of my favourite ever TV series. Yeah. If I could find a model of Serenity that was good, let's put that out there, that's good. There are lots of really bad ones. Then yeah, if I got one of them, I'd be sat there building and painting that right now. Oh, Derek, that's just sad. It's not going to take long to watch the whole of it anyway. Was it 9, 10? Well, 10 episodes total because the pilot's double length, I think. Oh, Alice, you'd love it. Space cowboy comedy, basically. And hey, Aquaballs, the City of the Angels, or as Maynard Keenan put it once in a song, Arizona Bay. Summer Glau's lovely. The character of River is just awesome, but I prefer. Well, let's just say my favourite female cat in that is Christina Hendricks, and that probably shows a lot about me, because I'm nothing if not predictable. But yeah, Where was I before I lost myself thinking about Christina Hendricks? Yeah, I say Summer Glau is a great actress. Tim? No, I completely lost my train of thought now, thinking about buxom redheads. I blame Alice. Actually, no, it's Nola Jones' fault. So yeah, the paranormal investigators, they do like the history of the place, which is all really interesting, and blah, blah. And these are people that do this for a living. They've been doing it for donkey's years, and the slightest bump or bang or noise, and they freak out. So you've gone there to investigate that. You're expecting that. Why are you jumping at it? It'd be like me going, there's a fish in my fish tank. But then, you know, if I was to do one of those kind of shows, it probably wouldn't get the views. It'd be like, oh, there's a bang over there. Yeah, exactly. It's exciting and people will watch it. Although, to be fair, I do watch it on YouTube. Which means that the TV companies get no money out of me. And it's not usually the actual people who made it who upload it. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Trying to think sharp, think of something. I did make a list. Hold on a moment, I'll be right back. All right, well, we can forget about the model-y stuff because there aren't any modelers here. Oh no. Yeah, but I'm never nice. Knowledge. I was naughty, so I just get coal. Mind you, I'd rather find a lump of coal than a satsuma or an orange. Let's put it that way. At least I could use the coal. So fish moves, new fish parts. Yeah, we can forget the modelling stuff. Yeah, I'm naughty. Always have been, always will be. So something that came up in another stream I was watching. Technology. Oh, it was Dwayne Kitchell's stream last night. That's it. Technology in fish tanks or fish keeping. Now, you can obviously go from one extreme to the other. You can go with a unheated, unfiltered, just plants and a light, or you can go full canister filters, sumps, automated everything. You know, spend thousands. Do you need to? No. I mean, as Dwayne's, it was someone in Dwayne's chat said, all a filter is something that moves water through a media. Right? That's all a filter is. Yeah. Sponge filters. So we were talking about the old-fashioned box filters, of which there is one stream of air bubbles coming up that side. That's an old-fashioned box filter. Got some gravel in the bottom to weight it down, and then just stuffed with a polyfill. And it does an amazing job. Yeah, you're still here, Coco. Yeah, it does an amazing job at polishing the water. Is it necessarily the best home for bacteria? Oh, Dave's out and about. Yeah. probably not the best home for bacteria. I mean, a sponge filter is a much better home for bacteria than a box filter. Yeah, you get your painting done, Pam. You can listen and lurk. I'll let you do that. Don't worry. Yeah, so the sponge filter is a much better home for beneficial bacteria than the polyfilter in the box filter, which you're going to change once a month or something. Now, obviously, you get a more complex filter like the Fluval U4 that's at the back there, and currently needs the algae cleaning off the outside of it, which does a good job of everything. Yeah, happy Veterans Day, yes, to America, and it's yeah, we don't really celebrate in the UK. We have what is known as Remembrance Sunday, so we'll have the not marches, processions through the towns with the poppy wreaths to light the war memorials. Because pretty much every town, some villages, every city in the UK has a war memorial. Generally, and it's got the names of all the people from that town that gave their lives in either the First or Second World Wars. So it's a far more somber thing, I think, possibly. So we certainly don't celebrate it, we observe it. And at 11 o'clock on Remembrance Sunday, the entire country has a 2-minute silence in memory of all those that gave their lives to keep us free, as it were. Yeah, it's our church services, all that stuff. It's yeah. Hi Dan. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, back to filters. Now, it's like that you then get your canister filter, which is just a bigger version of the U4 that lives outside the tank. I mean, I'm not going to jump on. I believe that every tank is coming up with my connection is unstable. No, it's gone away then. But I believe every tank is different, and every tank has its own requirements for filtration. So, for example, the little shrimp tank down there does just have a small sponge filter in it. Would a small sponge filter work in there? Nope, needs more. But I didn't want to go the whole canister route, so I went with the U4 that comes with it, and then I added an air pump and 2 air-driven filters, because to me, if you're going to run air in the tank, you might as well attach a filter to it rather than an air stone, if you can. But then you'll also have a big tank like this where the bio load in it is really low. And thank you, Bob. I don't say the only other link that I would have anything to do with would be Models for Heroes, which is a UK-based charity. And there will be an auction probably coming up at some point in the not too distant future on the International Scale Modeler channel. Where was it? Back filters. But yeah, I mean, this is a fairly high bio load in this tank. There's a lot of, admittedly small, but there's a lot of fish in here. Now, you know, if I only had 1 goldfish in there, or say half a dozen guppies, then yeah, I would just run a sponge filter for what is in the tank. And it keeps coming up with unstable connection. I hope it's coming through okay for everyone. I'm not seeing anything about buffering in the chat. Yeah, that's my view on the technology of filters. So if you'll get people say, no, you need to run 2 FX6s on that. No, no, you don't. You filter the tank according to what's in it. And well, at least now I'm relatively new to the hobby. I've done a lot of research, read a lot of stuff, watched a lot of stuff, and figured stuff out as I go. Made my own mind up. And it does seem to me people do overcomplicate things. Yeah, it's a very British way of doing it, Chevy Fish. It's like I was saying earlier with some of the more up and lively and enthusiastic streamers or YouTubers in general, that kind of doesn't go down well with the Brits. We're more restrained and staid. I'm sure the younger generation is different, but like my generation, we tend to stay fairly even keel. We don't. Yeah, exactly. Keep it simple. There's no need to overcomplicate everything. Dwarf gouramis, yeah. I did have 3 in there at one point, Alice. Now I'm not. I think one got beaten up by the others because they were 3 males. Let's be honest, and died from that. I think the angelfish Dorian saw off the second one. I think the third one may have had, gourami disease, which unfortunately is becoming very prevalent. Chewy would probably know what the percentages are, but there is quite a high percentage of all dwarf gouramis that have this disease, which is basically a death sentence, and you can't tell until they die from it. They're not overly sensitive, Alice. I think it's just a case of, like with some of the other really line-bred fish, they become weak. As the pedigree dogs. If you take a muck dog, it'll live 15, 20 years, perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. Just the usual, getting a bit old, gets a bit of arthritis. Eats something it shouldn't do, makes itself ill, that kind, the normal kind of things. But if you take something and really, really breed it to get a certain look or whatever from the animal, in this case dog, say a pug, right, or a British bulldog, notorious for breathing difficulties. German shepherds these days, notorious for hip problems. They're breeding them to have worse, they're basically breeding them to have worse and worse hip problems. Hey, Benny. No, they have such a slant on their back. Like instead of being a straight back, I know my arm and hand aren't straight. They slope down at the back, and then their legs come out at that kind of angle, and then it's like you're breeding it to have problems just because you think it looks good that way, and the Kennel Club think it looks good that way. It doesn't mean it's good for the dog. And the same goes with fish. If you keep breeding for a certain thing, say the blue gouramis, then they aren't that colour naturally. They're heavily. Oh, that one's got a bit of blue in it. That one's got a bit of blue in it. We'll breed them together. That one's got a bit more blue. That one's got a bit more. Yeah, I was saying, barbs and the white cloud mountain minnows. The gold barbs have been bred a little more. The mountain minnows are pretty much bomb-proof, I think. It is all down to inbreeding. The more you inbreed something, the more you breed for certain trait genetics, the more you're going to introduce problems. You just have to look at inbred human populations. The joke about Norfolk is everyone's got 6 toes and webbed fingers. Heck, when I was growing up, hi, Vinoxky. welcome aboard. I say, I mean, when I was 11 or 12, the local primary school around here, or around where I lived, which is a little village about 5 miles that way, the local primary school had 3 surnames for the kids. And there weren't like 6 kids, there were like 50. And I had 3 surnames. Yeah. Let's just say they were all in the bottom sets in high school. I mean, I'm no brainiac, but when I make people look dumb without even trying, you know they're dumb. So, has anyone got any questions for me before I just waffle myself into a hole and give up? Yeah. Always good to get the day off, Benny. Yeah. So I don't know. I assume Chris is still streaming. So if anyone wants to hop on over there and watch Chris draw and natter, go for it, because he's doing it all again for Pam and for Project Piaba, which we're all for supporting. Oh, national holiday. Yeah, sweet. I think our next one will be. Oh, it's been dark here for hours, Bob, since the clocks went back. Was it? Thanks to Jeebus. Yeah, I mean, when the clocks went back, was it 3 Sundays ago? It was getting light at around 6 and getting dark around 5:30. It's now getting daylight at basically 7, and it's dark by 4:30, and we're currently at 20 to 7. So yeah. Hello, Dave. Hey, Spriggley. No, I've not used the model in a fish tank. It's on there on the list of things I want to do, and if I did, it would be a model of Cthulhu. If you're not a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, don't worry about it. But the problem is the glues, the paints, the fillers, everything we use is pretty much toxic to fish. Well, it's toxic to everything pretty much, but especially toxic to fish. Hi, Anna. Is it really better to tilt your heater? I think it's probably better to have it straight horizontal, to be honest, because as we all know, heat rises. So if your heater is vertical, all the heat is going to go straight up in a narrow, you know, obviously you've got flow going past it, so it don't really make so much difference. Whereas if you've got an angle and the heat goes up, it goes up in a larger. Yeah, all my heaters are fully submerged, Alice. I just make sure I have a drip loop on the cord, so the cord goes up, down, and then has an up U shape in it, so any moisture that comes down drips off the bottom. And yes, anyone knew I do smoke, and I may swear. I try not to swear, but it's going to happen probably at some point, so there we go. At least if I do it in a video, I can stop and oh, D, you're not allowed to make muffins. You make me hungry. I haven't eaten much today either. I think I've got microwave pizza when I'm finished here. Yeah, so the heaters, yeah, it's the one that did make me really laugh during the summer because it got really rather warm in the UK. Yeah, I know, Alice, but you know, these things happen. Yeah, to be honest, Benny, I don't really think it makes that much of a difference, if anything. Because assuming you've got water flow going past the heater, it's not going to make any difference really. So for example, I've got 2 fluval flexes, and the only way you can get the heater in there is vertical unless you put it in the actual tank. But by having it in the pump compartment, it heats the water in the pump compartment, which then gets pumped straight into the tank. So yeah, that's my theory on that anyway. But yeah, it was in the summer when it was really hot, and people go, "Oh, turn off your heaters. Make sure your heaters are turned off." I'm thinking, hang on, they're thermostatically controlled. They will only come on if the tank temperature drops below what you've got them set at. So all you're going to do by turning it off is you're going to forget, and then when the temperature drops, you're still going to forget. And if it drops real fast, then you could have a problem. Yeah, I will do that, Alice. It's free protein. That's basically what it is. Days gone past, we would probably have done that. Sponge filter, hang on back and call it good. Yeah, exactly. Well, and a light. But then again, the lights are, and unless you know, with a planted tank, the lights are there for a reason. I feed twice a day. They get bloat and they pop. Yeah. So that's something I've had to learn, is to feed less. So I still feed twice a day. I just don't feed as much at each feeding. Yeah, it's. I think the box filter has got to be the most hot roddable filter, hot roddable adjustable filter there is. Blooming heck, we got Mr. Broseph. Hey Joseph, how you doing, buddy? I shall be tuning into your stream later. I'm good, mate. You? Yeah. I mean, some of the this. I'm surprised they're not all begging for food right now, because normally as soon as I walk up to this tank, they're all straight to the top, going, "Feed me, feed me, feed me." No need coffee. No need for coffee here, Joseph. We're on a mega monster. And my body is just so used to vast quantities of sugar and caffeine, I don't get the wobbly heart from it. In fact, some nights, yeah, you might want to get some of the worms out, Alice, if they don't eat them too quickly. But I'll say, yeah, for this evening's feeding, all this tank got was basically 2 of the, well, they're the JBL version, but they're the Onit tabs. Just the JBL ones are basically exactly the same ingredients and work exactly the same way, but they're a large jar full for like £9. Whereas I think the Sarah Onits were like that for 24, and there's sort of well over 100 in that jar. Yeah, Alice, I tend to remove dead fish as soon as I see them. Now, whether I see a whole dead fish or part of a carcass or whatever, because as it rots, it will produce ammonia. Technically, 1 dead fish, your filter should be able to handle that amount of ammonia. I haven't got them. Have I got them to hand? No. Get your planting tongs and just grab it by the tail and hoof it out. That's what I do. Yeah, I don't know whether it's you having lag, me having lag. I've had it come up on my screen a couple of times that the connection is unstable. Whether that's YouTube, my internet. But I say no one said anything about buffering. So Well, I don't know. But yeah, so I've had, obviously we've all had fish die. I've never noticed an ammonia spike from any of them, and now whether that's because I've got a mountain time, excuse me, or whether, especially in here, whether it's because the trumpet snails normally devour them before I even get a chance to find them. If a guppy dies and sinks to the bottom, then at the most I'll find is a skeleton overnight. I soon clear it up. Although I did pull about 100 trumpet snails out of there earlier this week, and I'm seeing probably about another 100 more right now without looking hard. I'll say stick me snail trap in. I'll just stick a big lump of some kind of veggie in there and pull it out in the morning with all the snails on it. Yeah, I'm hanging free, Bob. Yeah, it'll be a few years before I start needing to wear one, Bob. I just do it for the comfort. Yeah, so there we go. And where were we? Dead fish. What do I do with the trumpet snails when I pull them out? I put them in a dish and leave them out in the back garden. The birds and the frogs eat them. And Miss Tiggy Winkle, the hedgehog. Yeah, the 18 hours. Yeah, I don't like flush them down the sink or put them in the pond or put them into the water system. They get eaten by the local wildlife. Strangely, can't sell them around here. No one wants them. People don't even want nerite snails. Oh no, snails! Snails are bad. Get the other side. But all my tanks have got snails in of some description or another. I love them. They're always fun to watch. They don't hide up too much. And you can look at the snail really. Oh, see, it's flatmate. Yeah, no, yeah. Far too many of those around lately. Yeah, it's an idea. You can get a puffer to munch trumpet snails. I've not really got a tank I could put a puffer in, and I don't know whether I'm experienced enough to keep something like a puffer. I'll keep it relatively simple for now. Nothing too exotic. And especially this time of year when I know in the UK, I don't know about where everyone else is. The weather's starting to turn. There's not so much natural food around for the birds or anything else. And then, getting rid of your excess snails and feeding the local neighbourhood wildlife is a good thing. Just don't do what I did one time and forgot about them and left them in the dish for a couple of days. I wonder why the cat wouldn't come in. Yeah, I know, it's just an excuse to get another tank, and there's a fish shop fairly local to me that is selling green spot puffers for like, I think they were $8.99 and they were like already that big. I luckily I remembered something about some puffers needing brackish, and obviously you do have to be careful what you put with what puffers. That would mean another tank that was big enough for that puffer when it grew up, and then having tank mates that could live with that puffer. Now brackish would probably mean mollies or maybe guppies and platies, but then would the puffer eat them? So I try and exactly, Bob. I've got no experience at all with salt or brackish, so it would take a lot more research and learning on my behalf, and a lot more gubbins to buy, and water tests and refractometers and all the extra stuff to make a salty tank work. Plus I haven't got an RO filter. And I don't particularly fancy having to do 45 minutes on the bus and about 20 minutes walking with 5 gallons of RO water in a drum. And I can't use my tap water because my tap water is like liquid rock. Yes, sprigly fish do sleep, which is a good reason to turn all your lights off at night and don't leave that pretty blue one on that looks nice to us, because it keeps the fish awake. I'll say, I mean, things like the tank behind me, they're all awake. But pretty much as soon as I turn the light off, or some of them will put themselves to bed, they'll all go sleep until either I turn the light on in the morning or the sun comes up. My better Norman, yes, Sprugler, he is named after Norman Dennison, because he's all bald and shiny on the top of his head. Well, he was when I got him anyway. He just goes for a nap whenever he feels like it, in some really strange places. He'll either curl up on a leaf or just sort of flop down on the wood. The one that worries me every time is he goes to sleep. He's sort of like eating off the bottom of the tank. Getting on for an hour, Asbo. Hi Rod. But yeah, he'll literally, like, he'll be eating something off the bottom of the tank, off the substrate, and fall asleep face down, bum up. just be there in the tank, just like that. Yeah, thank you for all the likes, people, and thank you for reminding people, Alice. Yeah, it's something I've thought about, Select Pet. But again, I want to get more used to the hobby and then do a lot more research, because let's be honest, salt is a lot more expensive than fresh. What do you have to add to tap water to make it safe for a tropical tank? A bit of primal safe or some such. It's just an in-joke. It's very great. After the character Papa Lazarou in League of Gentlemen. Very strange and dark English comedy. Yeah, I'll say that, but you then got to add the salt to the water, and you got to check you got the right level of salinity, and you want protein skimmers, and You see, all I do is fill my bucket up in the sink, stick my hand in it. Yeah, that's about the right temperature. Chuck in a bit of prime or safe, or whichever I'm using at the time, and then chuck it in the tank. Job done. Yes. I say when I'm doing water changes, it's not the water change that takes the time. It's the, oh, I could move that a little to there. I can trim that plant. I can clear that algae. Now I can do this or that. I can, yeah. I say it would be something I'd have to look into a lot more, Bob. So hang-on backs aren't really very popular in the UK. I think it's just, I mean, our tanks pretty much all come with built-in lids. It's very rare you'll buy a rimless or a tank that hasn't got about 2 or 3 inches of plastic rim around the top, which makes it really rather difficult to use a hang-on back if you've got a full lid on there. Hey, Sean. So yeah, it's a. Again, yeah, I'd have to look into it. Yeah, I wouldn't have a sump either, Bob. Simple reason, and this is going to sound dumb, but you've got a glass box full of water, right? You've got a big box full of water in your house. Now, you're running enough risks with if the tank breaks or a seal goes. Why would you pump the water out of the tank into something else to pump it back in? To me, that's just asking for more leaks and more problems, and air traps, and it's just asking for things to go wrong in my book. Because I'm not that experienced. I'm not a plumber. I say try and keep everything in the box if you can. Obviously the air pump wouldn't work underwater, but yeah, no solicitors. Yeah. Means both things in the UK. So a solicitor, as you say, in that sense, but also it's a name for a lawyer in the UK. So basically, it's the equivalent of having no lawyer sign on the door. Or I think there is a slight difference. I think a lawyer is someone who deals with criminal stuff, whereas a solicitor is someone who deals with other stuff. So you go to a solicitor when you're buying a house, getting a divorce. You'd hire a lawyer if you got caught doing something naughty. Anywhere decent to get tanks cheap? Oh, yeah. I mean, other than second hand, that is the thing. They aren't cheap, Aaron. Yeah, it's if you can find one on, say, Facebook that's local to you that you can go and have a look at. Make sure it's got water. No, make sure it holds water. That's what you want to see. Doesn't matter if you've got to drain it out before you take it away. If it holds water, then I mean, it all depends on how much you're willing to spend, how big a tank you want or can fit. The general rule is the bigger the better. I mean, I got lucky in that this one with the stand I got, they were on sale at the time, and this is the X-Display model. So it hadn't been used, it was just set up in the shop. They built the cabinet and put the tank on the top, and then put all the stuff that comes with the tank in the tank, and a couple of bits of wood to make it look like a bit of a something. And I think it was supposed to be 500. I think I got it for 350. Howdy haggis. Yeah, I say for the modelers that have joined, did anyone go to Telford this weekend? Yeah, I'll say it all depends on the tank. Now, if it's a tank, people have just decided to get out of fish keeping and they've got the tank in the house and they want to sell it, fair enough. But I wouldn't go buying one that's been sat in someone's shed for 6 years. If that's the thing. And if you do buy a second-hand one, before you put it in location, stick some cardboard or carpet down outside on some flat ground and fill it with water. G'day, Mark. Yeah, just fill it with water and check it doesn't leak. The last thing you want is to fill a big box full of water up, put it in your house, and then find it leaks. And I actually do that with my new tanks as well not this one, obviously, but the smaller ones like that. I've sat it on the kitchen floor because it's a lino and just filled it up with water and left it an hour with a kitchen roll around it. Kitchen roll stayed dry. So I don't have a super chat button yet, Mark. No, I've got the subs, but I haven't got the viewing hours yet. I would quite happily take donations. The last I heard, Spruglu, they were doing rather well at Telford. I'm pretty sure they could probably have sold more airbrushes, but they got let down on delivery for that. So I think they only had 12 airbrushes to take. But yeah, everything seems to have gone well. I've not heard any nightmares. The general reaction to Airfix is new release, yeah, 172 Vulcan, yeah, has been meh. Probably mainly because the person who built it pretty much didn't know what they were doing. If you're going to build a kit for a display, this is a brand new release, this is the big show, bum bum bum, you'd make sure you filled the gaps and actually sprayed the primer on it evenly. Yeah, there is that. If you can always turn a leaky one into a reptile tank. Yeah, I'm not that complicated, or I'm not that technically apt. I'm a computer fool. Oh god. Yeah, I don't get excited for Airfix anymore. I mean, I do have a PayPal, but that's about it at the moment for any incomings. And then even if I do reach the requirements to get monetized, I'm not sure whether I would anyway. I think it might be a lot more hassle than it's worth. Yeah, I'll say, if in essence, buying a shrimp tank is all, I say shrimp tank, I see Mark there and I say instantly shrimp. In essence, all a tank is 5 bits of glass that have been silicon together. Yeah, so I mean, this is the thing, Mark, is I would have had the laptop anyway. I got the webcam relatively cheaply. It was on sale on Amazon. And for the other stuff on my channel, I would have bought a camcorder as well at some point. So what is it? I just got a little Canon HD camcorder. It does 1080p. Plenty good enough for me. It's like anything I bought is. I know it is, Mark. So I'll stick my email in. So yeah, I haven't got the viewing hours yet to get up to any of that. Benny, if I sold nudes, I would not make money. Trust me. There's a reason my nickname is Wookie. What's my email address? No, helpful to type it in the right place, wouldn't it, really? There we go. If I can remember. Yeah, I mean, there's my email address if anyone is feeling really, really nice and would like to make some kind of small donation. Yeah, but I'm not single, Alice. I'm how can I put it? I've been in a relationship for nearly 3 years now, Alice, so sorry to disappoint. It's only a 550 ml. Aaron, trust me, I'm friends with Dan Scattergood on Facebook, King Dan. You would not shock me, some of the things he sends. Yeah. No, Mark, this is the 550 ml can. This is the one that is actually resealable. I'm pretty much 6 foot. I'm what, 5'11", about 13, 14 stone. I'm not small. It's just a monstrous can. Because that's the amount of caffeine and sugar it takes to keep me going. See, Aaron, I know when deliveries come into all my local shops. Yeah, that is the email that I use for my PayPal, Bob. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Pam, you and me both, we're used to large amounts of caffeine in our systems. And I'm also used to large amounts of sugar in my system. I mean, I could drink that and then go have a nap. Right? It wouldn't keep me awake. Unfortunately, I had to give up the alcohol many years ago. Oh no! Hey Norm, I was talking about your namesake earlier. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. As I said to someone once, I don't have a bloodstream. I have a caffeine and nicotine stream. Yeah, I'm doing good, Norman. How are you feeling now, bud? You getting better? And I've got to sniff the glue anyway. It takes away the smell of the other stuff that's going on in the cave. I had stuffing again earlier, so we know that's going to be like, yeah, shy self. Yeah, you're about as shy as I am. Yeah, get that dog out, Sean. Let him out or her. You don't want to be clearing that up. It's one thing when you're doing a water change, you're getting a bit of spillage on the floor, but that doesn't smell quite so bad. Yeah. Have you heard anything about Telford, Norm? There's obviously Mary most of the day, and then pretty much straight on live. Obviously, I heard about the new release for the Airfix. I suppose that's a good thing. No fights or arguments or anything like that going on. That's good. Oh yeah, is that the 172 high, Aaron? The Zvezda, Edward. and everyone else who's reboxed it. Yeah, yeah. I was saying earlier that the Vulcan, the 148. Oh, who made that? Is that Hassie? Norman will know. Who makes the 148th Hind? Yeah, yeah. Oh, Tamiya. So that's the Solari reboxing. Yeah, yeah. It's the same kit. Just the Tamiya one has better instructions and a nicer looking box. Possibly better decals as well. Depends whether they're the. Oh, excuse me. Oh, gold, so even older. It'll be the monogram then. If it's in 148, but no, 172. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the Tamiya sprues have less flash on them. A bit straighter as well. You see now the fishy peeps are getting confused because the Model E peeps have turned up. Yeah, and I've got to say the FX B17 has been quite fun to put together. A couple of minor little niggles, but nothing you wouldn't expect from most kits that aren't Tamiya or Bandai or Mini Art. But yeah, it's gone together pretty well. A satin primer. I had to check it for seams. Yeah, I'll say the 48th Hind is going to be huge. Is it Trump? No, was the Trumpy the 135th? Is the Trumpeter the monstrous 135th one? Because that thing is massive. Yeah. That's going to be huge. Now, I mean, yep, Lego counts, Benny. Yep. There's plenty of Lego gets built by modelers. It's one of those things. When I was a kid, I started out playing with Lego and building Lego. And then I suppose like the next step up is a plastic model kit. Like for some of my age, it would have been an Airfix 172 Spitfire or something like that. And then you gradually move up the scales, move up the complexities, usually, and until you end up at Trumpeter T90s, which are, you know, wonderful kits, and I love them. Hey, Causa. Yeah, I do enjoy the bigger scales. I just run out of room for them, really. I've always, yeah, I need an energy drink. Oh, Night Night Marcelfi. Yeah, the bigger scales, it's finding somewhere to put them when they're done. Especially, you know, planes are long and wide. Tanks tend to be long and narrow, so you can get more tanks on a shelf. It's pretty much my theory on it. Plus, tanks for the win, especially Russian ones. Oh, you can still get those, Causa. I see them fairly regularly. Hey, Spunky. Yeah, I remember getting those. You go to the beach, day out of the beach as a kiddie, and you get one of them. You just stuff the wings and the tailplane through, stick the little propeller on the front, throw it, and it either crash, and then break, or it would catch the wind, work really well, and end up like half a mile out at sea. Oh, thank you very much, Bob. As I say, I don't expect anyone to donate anything or send any money at all of any kind. Obviously, if anyone does, it'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I've had actual scale model planes fly quite well in the wind. Yeah. The thing I found with most 35th scale tanks, Aaron, is they fit quite well on top of DVD shelves. Mark, yes, I used to do a lot of radio control stuff. I used to be a sponsored factory driver. Yeah, so I've still got a double wardrobe that is basically half full from the bottom. You know, it's like stacked. I don't mean like delicately placed. I mean like just stacked on top of each other with RC cars. I've done the planes, or as I call them, kindling. I've done the helicopters. I even had to go with quads. But I found the ones that they sell as drones, I found that just way too boring. And the racing quads, whilst fun, you know, they're really not that popular around here. I'd probably be the only one who actually had one. And plus having to wear the video glasses to be able to see where the thing's going, because yeah, that's what happens with planes, Mark. You spend hours and hours and days. You get high as a kite on the dope. Yeah, I think that's actually where the calling drugs dope came from, is using the dope on the model planes for the tissue paper would get you high. But yeah, you spend hours and hours and days doing all that. You get the engine running and set, and then you crash it. Yeah. But yeah, I've done far more damage to RC cars than 600 euros. I actually did more damage to someone else's helicopter with an RC car. That was an interesting one. He was trying to be, I forget, it was one of the nationals, national monster truck, nitro off-road, obviously. And he had this was before quads, before the DJI and the drones and everything took over. And yes, well, I mean, most people it was a triple jump, so 3 smaller jumps in a row. And most people were either going single, double, or double, single. Now, because I was in the outlaw class, because my truck is ludicrous, we're talking something that weighs, I mean, it's 1/8 scale, so it's a big lump. I think Norm's probably seen it. It's 8 scale, so it's like that. And but it only weighs 3.5 kilo, and it's got a 4 horsepower engine in it that revs at something like 45,000 revs. Yeah, 44,000 rev turbo crank, 28 engine in it. And yeah, I did the triple jump, and yes, the helicopter was right in the way, and I hit him at about 50 mile an hour. I landed perfectly fine. There were bits of helicopter going everywhere. And I think that was somewhere in the region of around about £2,000 worth of damage, because I obliterated the camera as well. He came shouting and screaming. I said, well, you shouldn't fly it in my way then, should you? Yeah. Oh dear, yes. And now we're on to the penis jokes. Put two guys from the ISM hangouts together, and it's either it's gonna turn into either penis or poop jokes. Yeah, very rapidly. But yeah, so that's what I used to do. I used to race those. I think you could say semi-professionally. Never got paid to do it, but I got my stuff considerably cheaper than I should have done. And yeah, tanks are all doing fine. Thanks, Causa. Had a bit of a shift around with some fish earlier in the week, and I got a couple more today, which are currently in the quarantine tank, chilling out, and give them a week or two, make sure there's nothing wrong with them. Then they can go in the tanks with their future friends. One of a World War II rocket. Oh, yeah, I did the Estes rockets that you used to be able to get. I don't know if you can still get them in the UK. Yeah, I think we had a V2 one of those. Strangely enough, it exploded. But yeah, that's just the kind of thing we used to do. If you got the, well, especially this time of year being fireworks night in the UK. Was that last weekend? Yeah. Yeah, so Aquaballs, electric is faster these days than nitro. Oh, oh, sprue glue. Mind you, he's nice and shiny, so it'd soon wipe off. But yeah, we used to get, you'd get an old RC car that you didn't use anymore, and of course, I've got ones that'll leave that dead. Back in the days before brushless motors and LiPo batteries, lithium polymers, back when it was brushed motors and nickel metal hydride batteries, I had a 10th scale pan car, basically a flat chassis, foam tyres, and had a Porsche 911 Strassen version body on it, or GT1 body shell. That was running around the Snetterton RC track oval, and it was clocked on the brakes at 97.3 mile an hour. So yeah, what's that? What's on there? Probably about 140 k's. Yeah. So yeah. As I say, I was a works driver. I had all the top gear. Yeah, electric. Electric's faster than nitro. And they're even faster these days. I mean, I've got two-wheel drive. Well, I've got a four-wheel drive electric buggy, 10 scale, low C 22.4. It's running a fast brushless and LiPo system that will easily do 60 mile an hour, and that's an off-road buggy. Four-wheel drive, and the 97 we're talking was rear-wheel drive. Plenty long enough. Well, out of that, the LiPo battery, I'll get about a quarter of an hour. So that's about 10 minutes too long. They may do, but I think. Hey, Connor. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, no. I'd rather look at puppies than me as well, Connor. Don't worry about it. You see, now I have a thing, electric cars. Now I'm all for it. No, it seems a great idea. They're efficient. As technology moves forwards, they'll become more efficient. The batteries will become smaller and lighter, charge faster, blah, blah, blah. But there's one serious danger with them. You can't hear the bloody things coming. So we're used to hearing engines, right? Oh, Norm. Right, so used to hearing an engine, you hear a car coming, so you know not to step out in the street. What happens when you don't hear the car coming? You step out in the street and then you suddenly spot the electric Tesla. There's a Tesla in town. It's one of the older ones. Looks like a Lotus, Lotus Exige. One of them anyway. Little thing. And 2 or 3 times I've nearly stepped straight out in front of it because I can't hear it. I know the green cross code is stop, listen. But I'm a middle-aged bloke. If I can't hear anything, I step out. Yeah, it's at least have some kind of engine noise that they make, or make them have spoked wheels with playing cards in, or spooky dokies or something, so you can hear them. Yeah, reversing beepers on them. It's not like, electric's in short supply in there, is it? As long as it's not one of those annoying, warning, this vehicle is reversing. Warning, this vehicle is... No, just a simple beep, 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 beep. That'd be fine. Yeah. Yeah, like the car alarms that nobody pays any attention to anymore. When they first came out, if anyone heard a car alarm, everyone was like straight, look, where is it? Where is it? Who's stealing the car? Nowadays, a car alarm goes off and everyone just ignores it and goes, oh, well, turn that bloody car alarm off. Place I worked at before the last place, the office staff remembered after a while to turn their car alarms off, because they would all be parked up outside the front of the offices, and I'd go honking past on the forklift and set all the alarms off. Yeah, they were too sensitive. Danger, Will Robinson. Well, I think exterminate might be better. That's probably copyrighted as well. Yeah. So that when everyone's sat in the office and you go honking past at full chat on a forklift, it does sets off every single car alarm there is. They soon learn to turn them off. I mean, not as funny as the time we had an MD that no one really liked. Was he MD? No, was he the manager? It was something like that. No one really liked him, and it was he was leaving. He was being an extra arse all that week. So when it came time for him to go home, which was shortly after the rest of us had all gone home, he found his car surrounded by stacks of the blue pallets, the Cheps, 15 high, all the way around his car, and we took all the forklift keys home with us. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, Connor, for you to lose one of the pups. Yeah, I shall probably be back in the hangout tomorrow, Norm. I'll catch up on see what happened at Telford. Yeah, have fun, buddy. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah. Yeah, the golden rule. Yeah, she did well for her first litter. I got, give her a good fuss and a cuddle from me, Connor. But yeah, I say, lesson learned there, eh, Bob? Don't pee off the forklift driver. He's lucky we didn't just lift it up and stick some blocks under it, so the wheels are just off the floor. Oh, that's sad, Causa. Some animals, like some people, just aren't cut out to be parents. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid, sometimes. I would make an absolutely shocking parent. Exactly. You got 7 fat and happy pups. Yeah, that would be why, Causa. Poor little beggar was. Yeah, she couldn't cope. She was probably thirsty, hungry, wanting to feed the pups but couldn't, so she needed to get some food into her so she could feed the pups, and the only food available was the pups. Kind of a vicious circle, really. So it's yeah, she will be, but I'm sure plenty of food, plenty of love, fuss, cuddles, and she recovered. Yeah. Oh, we see it with some fish. You know, some people will have a pair of rams, for example, and their first set of eggs, they look after them beautifully. They grow, they all hatch, they get all the fry, they look after the fry beautifully. Some, like my buggers, eat the eggs. You know, it's. Well, if you don't have algae, then you don't need algae eaters, do you, Alice? Because all you'd have to do then is add algae to the tank, otherwise they'd starve. So I've got bristlenose plecos in 3 of my tanks now. Is it 3? Yeah. Oh, geez, that's a lot of mastiffs. That'd be a lot of mastiffs in a large house and a double wide trailer. Yeah. People think I'm mad having 7 fish tanks. And a crazy cat. Well, I haven't got a cat. A cat's got me. I'm one of those people that doesn't own a cat but has cat treats and cat toys in the house. No. Sorry, Mark. 6 fish tanks, 1 shrimp tank. And one of those fish, 2 of those fish tank shrimp in as well. So the bamboo shrimp are in there, and the bit of tank around in the front room, there are shrimp in there as well. Yeah, the thing with that Causa is cats will go where there's food, and they will catch and eat their own food. Zach is a big cat, but he's not fat. He's not big boned. He's just a big fluff monster, especially this time of year. Yeah. I'll say pets are always fun, entertaining. Keep you warm, give you cuddles, give you fusses, look after you when you're ill. In cats' cases, they'll wait till you're dead and then they'll just start eating you. Yeah, yeah. There are some weeks I think I'd possibly spend more on fish food than I do on myself. 4 cars, Anna. I'll take it you mean cats. Yeah. Will Mark have a welfare check done? Oh dear. Yeah, it's but you know, it's one of those things where the money you spend on a pet is always worth it. Zach will eat virtually anything. He's especially fond of bacon. Yeah. If I buy bacon and egg sandwiches, I have and egg sandwiches. Let's put it that way, which works quite well because the eggs give me amusing wind and he enjoys the bacon. So yeah, he has the bacon, then he has a play with the catnip, then he comes and has a nap with me. It's probably quite a sight, me laying there asleep with the cat asleep beside me. Yeah, no, Connor wins at the moment. If it'd been where I lived between the ages of 12 and 18, I would have been on the winner. Because I lived on a chicken farm. And we had 4 sheds with 250,000 birds in each shed. 1 dog and 1 cat. And a hamster. Yeah. I think that technically qualifies you as a zoo, Connor. But anyway, I would say thanks to everyone for turning up and hanging out with me and having a natter and a chat and a laugh, hopefully. If anyone has donated any kind of funds to my PayPal, massive thanks. Yeah, I might pop onto Discord in a moment as well, Alice. Oh dear. So yeah, see you later. Enjoy your modeling, your fish keeping, whichever hobbies they are, shrimp keeping. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. And bye bye.